Everyone wants the crown, but no one wants to carry its weight. This story will change your life forever. Long ago, when kingdoms rose and fell like waves upon the sea, there lived a mighty ruler, King Virendra of Aryanagar. He was loved by his people and feared by his enemies. Yet, despite all his wealth, there was one thing that troubled him. The kingdom's youth had grown lazy. They wanted success without sweat, riches without work, fame without effort. One morning, while addressing his court, the king stood tall and declared, "I will give half my kingdom and my daughter's hand in marriage to the one who can tell me what makes success last forever." The grand hall erupted with whispers. Everyone, nobles, warriors, scholars, and priests, gathered with hopeful hearts. The next day, the king sat on his golden throne, listening to answers one by one. "Success comes from wisdom," said a scholar. "From courage," declared a soldier. "From wealth," shouted a merchant. But the king shook his head. "Wisdom fades with age. Courage can fail. Wealth can be stolen. None of you understand the truth." Disappointed, he sighed. It seemed no one in the entire kingdom knew the answer. Until from the crowd, a small voice spoke up. "Your Majesty, may I try?" All heads turned. There stood a young boy, barely 12, wearing worn-out clothes and holding a wooden stick. His name was Arav, the son of a poor farmer. The guards tried to shoo him away, but the king raised his hand. "Let him speak. Sometimes wisdom hides in humble hearts." The boy's bold claim. Arav stepped forward, his voice clear but gentle. "Your Majesty, success lasts forever only when it is earned through sacrifice." The court burst into laughter. "Sacrifice? That's the talk of a hungry child," mocked one noble. But Arav stood firm. "You may laugh, my lord, but a seed must die in the soil before it grows into a tree. Nothing grows without giving up something first." The king was intrigued. "You speak with wisdom beyond your years, boy, but can you prove your words?" Arav bowed. "Give me 7 days, sire. Let me show you, not tell you." The king agreed and ordered his servants to treat Arav as an honored guest. They placed him in a royal chamber, soft silken bed, trays of fruits, musicians playing gentle tunes. But on the first night, Arav knocked on the king's door. "Your Majesty," he said humbly, "I wish to stay in the stables instead, with the workers and horses. Let me earn my food." The king frowned. "Why would you give up such comfort?" Arav smiled. "Because a man who sleeps in silk forgets how hard the farmer works for the cotton." The king, impressed, allowed it. For the next 7 days, Arav cleaned the stables, fetched water, chopped wood, and helped the palace cooks. He ate simple food, slept on straw, and never complained. When the king secretly observed him, he saw something different in the boy's eyes. Peace. Not the peace of rest, but the peace that comes from purpose. On the 7th morning, the king summoned Arav. "You have proven your humility, child, but sacrifice is more than hard work. It also means enduring pain. Are you ready for that?" Arav nodded. "Yes, your Majesty." The king pointed to the distant Mount Dhruva, whose peak touched the clouds. "At the top of that mountain lies a chest. Bring it to me before sunset, and your answer shall be proven true." The boy's eyes widened. The mountain was steep, rocky, and cruel. But he accepted the challenge. He set off at sunrise with only a flask of water and a rope around his waist. The path was merciless. Thorns cut his feet, the sun scorched his back, and sharp stones bruised his knees. Halfway up, exhaustion nearly broke him. He thought of quitting, but then he whispered to himself, "If I stop now, I'll only prove that comfort wins." So he kept climbing, step by step, breath by breath. By the time he reached the peak, his hands bled, his body trembled, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. He fell to his knees and opened the chest. Inside, instead of stones or treasures, he found a letter sealed with the royal crest. With shaking hands, he read it aloud. "True success is not found at the top of mountains. It is built through the sacrifices made along the climb." The king suddenly appeared behind him, smiling. He had followed the boy in secret. You've done what grown men couldn't, Arav. You've proven your truth, not just with words, but with your will. The king lifted the boy up and declared before his court, "From this day forth, Arav shall be my royal advisor. He has reminded this kingdom that success without sacrifice is an illusion." The crowd cheered. The nobles who had mocked him bowed their heads in shame. That night, the king told his people, "Remember Ara the journey. The crown shines not because of gold, but because of the sweat that polishes it." Moral of the story is that success never comes without sacrifice. Comfort may please you today, but only sacrifice builds you for tomorrow. The road to greatness is paved not with gold, but with the sweat of your own effort. If Arav's story inspired you, then don't just listen, act. Subscribe now for more powerful motivational stories that awaken your courage, sharpen your purpose, and remind you that your struggle is your strength. Because sometimes, the smallest story can spark the biggest change in your life.